Call halal Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai Bahashim Rakakadash. Double honors to the elders of GMS, including the elders that came before them that taught us His truth. Shalom and salutations to all the brothers out pushing the word of truth and sincerity. This is the brother Yahshua back with another video and lesson. All right, and we're just going to touch on this devil. All right, this devil is just doing his job. Okay, he's only being the perfect mechanism for death and destruction, and lying. Okay, being deceiving, being deception. Okay, he's the perfect vessel for that. That's the way the Most High made him, and the Most High basically employs him just like he employs the spiritual demon Satan. Um, he uses this devil, to do his dirty work, to really put hell on Jake. All right, so that's all he's doing. And I mean, if we understood that as a people, I mean, then it would, go a long way to us doing what is necessary to not have the Most High do that, which is to come back to the law, statutes, commandment, and call on the name of the Lord. Repent and acknowledge your offense and pray for forgiveness. All right. So basically, I'm going to show that. I'm going to show how they were able to, maintain this run. They've had a long run going back 500 years. Okay. But this is how they were able to maintain it. We're going to watch a little video after we bring this out. So first, this is Psalm 17 and 13. All right. Arise, O Lord, disappoint him, cast him down, deliver my soul from the wicked, which is thy sword. So Esau is the Most High's whipping stick, his sword. All right. Esau is a sword. All right. Okay. Going back to Cain, Tubal Cain, and all of that, right? And in this video we're about to watch, they're going to get into some of the theories and how this devil was able to turn shit upside down and maintain his little, wise counsel, which is completely deceptive, right? They taught us the Bible, right, the way that they needed to in order to keep us subdued, all right? So, and let's get this real quick, okay? So, lucky, bear with me. Okay, this is Isaiah 29 and 16. All right, surely your turning of things upside down shall be as esteemed as the potter's clay. For shall the work say of him that made it, he made me not, or shall the thing framed say of him that framed it, he hath no understanding? Okay? Meaning, the Most High made you to be the perfect devil, right? And nobody can change that, all right? You have turned things upside down. Somehow you're the Most High, somehow you're Yahweh, and you're the good character in this movie that the Most High created. No, it's actually the other way around, okay? Now let's watch some of this video. This is David Pakman. This actually goes back a few months back, so like 5 months ago. But it was interesting. I ran across it, and it's White Supremacist Roots of American Christianity. So we'll just watch it from the top. They got this guest on there who's going to break down a little bit of the stronghold that these devils put on Jake, how they were able to do it. But they're not getting to the point uh, that the Most High is in control of all things, what they're being used for, and how now their time is up. So these truths are being revealed. This devil is being revealed for who he actually is, where his power actually lies, and how it's all coming to an end. So let's watch this and we'll get some precepts.
Robert P. Jones is the CEO of the Public Religion Research Institute and also author of the new book, White Too Long, The Legacy of White Supremacy in American Christianity. Robert, thanks for your time. Really appreciate it.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I'm great. I'm really glad to be here.
So let's just to get us into this topic, can you talk a little bit about, I mean, how far back does the interplay or overlap between white supremacy and American Christianity go, and is it specific to certain denominations?
That's a great, opener. Well, it goes all the way back, is the thing there is to say. I mean, all the way back to the founding of the Republic. And in fact, what the version of kind of particularly white Protestant Christianity that lands on American shores, brings with it this entanglement with white supremacy, really from its European roots. So things like Manifest Destiny, the idea that white Europeans are entitled to Native American lands, all the way from the very beginning. I mean, these are very much wrapped up with this entanglement of the idea that kind of white people are meant to be over others in kind of a racial hierarchy, and that this was legitimated by Christian belief.
And that's partially true, but only for a time. Okay, this devil was given an amount of time to go out and subdue the nations, or to deceive the nations. Okay, and that's what they've done by turning things upside down. We'll actually get that later on too.
Brought and kind of came over, legitimated and packaged in a kind of white Christian theological package.
When we look at the Northern Baptist, Southern Baptist split, which is something that has been written about from a number of different angles over the years, how much was that split related to this issue of white supremacy?
Yeah, well, it was the reason, really, that Baptists in the North and Baptists in the South parted ways. It was literally over whether a ordained member of the clergy could enslave other human beings on the basis of the color of their skin and still retain their status as a clergy person, and that whether this was a legitimately Christian thing to do. And Baptists in the North rejected that view. Baptists in the South were so dedicated to protecting not only this possibility but this as a Christian norm, that they literally split from their northern brethren, set up their own convention called the Southern Baptist Convention. That's where that name comes from, in 1845. So this is well before even the Civil War. This is my home denomination, I should say, and that I grew up in as a Southern Baptist in Mississippi. But that history, I think, is one of the reasons why I wrote the book is that history is not well known, really. I mean, even I, growing up inside the church, didn't find out about it until I was in seminary, so in my early 20s. But the one thing to say to answer the first part of your question, your first question, is that while I think this history is most kind of on the surface with an organization like the Southern Baptist Convention, virtually every Protestant denomination split over the issue of slavery and white supremacy in the Civil War. The Methodist split, Presbyterian split, the Episcopalians split, and it was all really over this question of the legitimacy of slavery, and then underneath that, the kind of bigger thing that justifies this idea of white supremacy.
It is, or to what degree is the Catholic Church sort of exempt from this? I mean, I know you said that this was predominantly in Protestant churches, but what about the Catholic Church?
Right, really important as well. I mean, what we find is that despite the fact that the Catholics have their own history of discrimination, in the U.S., there's a lot of anti-Catholic sentiment. As late as John F. Kennedy's presidential election, he was facing a lot of anti-Catholic sentiment in 1960. But it's worth saying too that, but in the latter years, this problem really exists. It actually exists, through the Catholic Church as well. So, for example, even in New York, not in the South, But in New York City, there was one Catholic parish as African Americans began to move in numbers from the South to New York as part of the Great Migration. They were displacing, in many cases, Irish neighborhoods, Polish neighborhoods, Italian neighborhoods, and pushing folks out. And they actually left because they didn't want to live alongside African Americans. And
we didn't want to live around you neither. We're supposed to be separated.
And then even the diocese in New York designated one diocese, St. Mark's Parish, or one parish, St. Mark's Parish, as the place for African Americans to go. So in other words, if you were white in New York, you could go to your local parish school if you wanted to go to Catholic school. But if you were African American, there was one school you had to go to. They had segregated all African Americans into one school. African Americans often had to wait at the end of the line until all whites had received the Eucharist at a Mass before they could receive Eucharist. And this is, again, in Catholic churches in New York. So it really has infected really not only kind of evangelicals in the South or mainline Protestants in the Midwest, but also Catholics that are more numerous in urban and northeastern settings.
I'm guessing that the answer to this question, I'm guessing there are multiple answers to this question that may vary, but what have been some of the biblical justifications for slavery and then short of slavery, discrimination or outward racism?
All right, now it's about to get real. What the hell happened here? Slovakia. I tried to stop that and it went somewhere else. Hold on. Slovak. Let's go back there. All right, bear with me. Because he's about to say something very pertinent. So let me see if I can get it back there.
Yeah, so I spent a whole chapter in the book talking about the kind of theology and kind of how this creeps in and is embedded in white Christian theology. One of the most blatant examples really is that white Christians really invented a separate creation story.
Now they're about to get into Cain and Abel and how they turned it upside down. Listen close.
And brown people that was separate from the creation story for white people. So and read this back into the book of Genesis, and it was in the story of Cain and Abel. These are two brothers. Cain kills his brother Abel because he's jealous, and then lies to God about the murder. And in the text, it says that God marks him, marks him as a result. Now, the text doesn't say anything about skin color or race or any of that, but white theologians.
But we know through the Spirit that he marked him with the curse of leprosy. And then Esau was born as the reincarnation of Cain. We understand that these devils are going to do their own take on it. Let's see what they say.
And clergy and white Christians in general read back into that passage, here's the beginning of dark-skinned people. That's their origin story.
No, the beginning of dark-skinned people was the Most High has no beginning and no ending. All right. And then Yahweh Shai is the beginning and the ending. All right. So there's your beginning of dark-skinned people. It's Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. So get it right, devil.
That conveniently, traces then whites back to Adam and Eve, to these kind of more noble human beings that God formed by God's own hands and breathed life into them. And then traces the origin story of non-white peoples in the world, literally to a criminal act. That is to a murder.
But wait, who's the murderer? All right, who's out prowling around, seeing who he can devour? See, so basically, all right, I'm gonna let this play a little more because it's lengthy. I just wanted to get to that part. So we're about 7 minutes in, but just some of the characteristics of what the Most High created. He created the perfect killing instrument, full of deception. All right, more subtle than any beast of the field. Let's let this play out.
And so it sets up a kind of not only kind of racial hierarchy, but a moral hierarchy, with whites having this more noble history.
Right, of raping, robbing, and murdering.
Non-whites having this, history that, again, goes back to an original ancestor who is literally a murderer.
More recently.
See how they flipped it? Okay, good enough. All right. Let's get that again. Isaiah 29:16. Surely you're turning of things upside down shall be esteemed as the potter's clay. All right? You are the murderer. Okay? And we understand that because the Most High gave us the Spirit, to understand the pure doctrine. So we can see right through all of your lies, all right? Let's get this. All right, this is a sword. This is Psalm 7 and 12. If one does not repent, the Most High will sharpen his sword. Okay? This guy is a killing instrument for the Most High. He has bent and strung his bow. He has prepared his deadly weapons. Cain, or Tubal Cain, all right, that's a killing instrument, all right? He ordains his arrows with fire, all right? All right, so let's get some more on the sword, which is Genesis. Okay, the code has been revealed to us. We know who this devil is. He's the Most High's sword. And the Most High is going to continue to use this sword on the 2/3, right? Because you need death. All right, and the men of the Lord are going to make it into the kingdom and start this thing over in righteousness. All right, this is Genesis. Wow, I spelled Genesis wrong. Genesis 27:40. All right. Let's start at 38. Esau said to his father, "Do you have only one blessing, my father? Bless me too, O my father." Then Esau wept aloud. Wait, he lifted up. Let's get the KJV. And go back to 38. Okay, where is it? And Esau said unto his father, "Hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father." And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, "Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth." That's why this devil lives in the best places. "And of the dew of heaven from above." All right, so he's got the fatness. And then here, "And by thy sword shall thou live." Okay, this is what I'm trying to get right here. All right, because he is the Most High's sword. This is his blessing. He is the Tubal Cain. Okay? He is the Cain of Cain and Abel. All right? But like these devils tried to flip it, that's where the first leprous dog came from. Okay? All right? And then he was reborn on the earth in the reincarnation as Ashashua. All right? Let's get some more. Let's get Isaiah 3. Isaiah 3:25. Thy men shall fall by the sword. Okay? Moreover, saith the Lord, because the daughters of Zion, all right? This is talking about Israel. It shall come to pass, it's talking about the women, right? And then thy men. All right, this is talking about Israel. All right, for behold, the Lord of hosts, doth take away from Jerusalem and from Judah. All right, so that's who's being spoken of. Thy men shall fall by who? Esau. the Most High's sword, and thy mighty in the war. Okay, and you 2/3, you still got some ass whooping to go through. All right. Let's get Isaiah 1. Isaiah 1 and 20. But if ye refuse and rebel, all right, that witchcraft, ye shall be devoured with the sword, for the mouth of the Lord hath spoken it. Okay? And you know who this is talking about. The vision of Isaiah, which he saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem. All right? If you refuse and rebel, ye shall be devoured with what? Esau. All right? And they were able to hide their their reason for their dominance, if you will, right? Because they taught us their version of the scriptures, okay? They hid them, so, which is, that's what they do, all right? It's Isaiah 65 and 12. Therefore, all right here, and I will bring, this is 9, and I will bring forth the seed out of Jacob and out of Judah, all right? That's who's being spoken of, all right? But ye are they that forsake the Lord, forget my holy mountain, that prepare a table for that troop, okay? Therefore will I number you to the sword, you shall all bow down to the slaughter. Because when I called, ye did not answer. Well, who is the Most High calling? He's calling Israel, okay? This is going to the 2/3, all right? You're going to be numbered to what? To Esau, the Most High's sword. All right, let me get one more and then we'll qualify that. Jeremiah. Let's get 14. Jeremiah 14 and 18. If I go forth into the field, then behold, the slain with the sword. And if I enter into any city, then behold, them that are sick with famine. All right, here's what's coming to you 2/3. All right. Yea, both the prophet and the priest go about in a land that they know not. All right. Let me get this one real quick. This is Jeremiah what? 11. Let's go back. Jeremiah 11 and 22. But O Lord of hosts, that judgest righteously, that triest the reins and the heart, let me see thy vengeance on them. Salakia. What is it, 22? Salakia. Therefore, thus saith the Lord of hosts, behold, I will punish them. The young men shall die by the sword, their sons and their daughters shall die by famine. All right? Hey, here's what's coming. Esau's coming. All right? And don't get it twisted. Just because it seems like things are at a lull right now, you see they acquitted this guy in the impeachment trial. What does that mean? That means that those guys were justified in what they did, storming the Capitol. All right? That's what that whole thing, because what did they put on trial? They put Trump on trial for ordering his troops to storm the Capitol, and when they let him go, they're holding themselves not guilty. All right? But who are they going to use that whole debacle? Again, they're coming after Jake. That's why they did the whole dog and pony show. All right? Get this. right there. All right, because they're not guilty. This is their time to rule. This is their time to go out and deceive the nations and subdue it. Okay? This is Zechariah 11:5. Whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty. And they that sell them say, Blessed be the Lord, for I am rich, and their own shepherds pity them not. Right here. Whose owners slaughter them and feel no guilt. Okay? That's what that whole thing was at the Capitol and the impeachment trial. What was on trial is whether or not what happened was wrong. And all of them got together and made a little dog and pony show and said, nope, we're going to let these devils go. They didn't do anything wrong. Now, had it been a bunch of Jakes, it would have been a slaughterhouse. Right? And we all know that. All right, so let's get this and then we'll get out. I believe it's Revelation 18. Let's see. Or is it 20? Let's see. Okay. Revelation 20. And we'll start right here at the top. And I saw an angel come down from heaven having the key of the bottomless pit and a great chain in his hand. And he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years. Talk about what happened to Esau. All right. And cast him into the bottomless pit and shut him up and set a seal upon him, that he should deceive the nations no more till the 1,000 years shall be fulfilled. And after that, he must be loosed a little season. This is talking about Esau, the Most High's sword. Okay. Now, after that, and when the this is 7, Revelation 20 and 7, and when the 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison, and shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth, Gog and Magog, to gather them together to battle. All right, the number of whom is as the sand of the sea. All right, so that's why they were able, okay, to take our own book, all right, and use it against us. And that's what, if you watch that whole article, I mean, that whole video, he's explaining how they were able to turn the Bible upside down on us when it belongs. It explains who this devil is. He was able to hide the fact that he is the devil. The greatest lie that the devil ever told was that he doesn't exist. Well, there it is. And he shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth. All right? When the 1,000 years are expired, which was roughly about 1,300. He was loosed out of his prison, right? He started standing upright and stopped slithering on all fours. And then he went out and he turned everything upside down and gave himself credit for everything. Killed a bunch of Jakes and held himself not guilty. Because the Most High set him up for that. All right? So with that, what we're going to say is, hey, that devil is coming. He's coming. So stay on your guard, stay on your watch. Understand that this thing can break at any moment. All hell is going to break loose at any moment. And we can't wait because that standard is going to be lifted. All right, so with that, I hope that the brothers are edified. And with that, we're going to say shalom.